Hello, and welcome to today's Ananda for the Future, Episode 1, Tips for Online Marketing. My name is Kalamali, and I live at Ananda Village, which is a spiritual community based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda, who you can see behind me here. And today I'll be talking with you a bit about marketing in a more spiritual sense. It's something that Yogananda referred to as marketing good ideas. So that's why we're here today, and hopefully some of the things that we'll be sharing with you can inspire you in your own marketing practices to come from a place of inspiration. So I wanted to start by summarizing 10 of the tips that have been helpful to me and hopefully others can find to be helpful when they begin their online marketing practices. The first one is to have fun. And I wanted to start with this because just as with anything we do, it's so important to come from the right place. And for me, having fun is what makes marketing successful because it's done with the right attitude. One thing that has helped me a lot is generating enthusiasm. And to see the marketing as something that's fun, I look forward to doing it every day. I see it as something that will help others. I feel it as an opportunity to be a channel for sharing something good in the world, those good ideas, good causes, good things that people are doing in their service to others. This is a really, really important word, enthusiasm. In actually is in, as in I-N, and enthuse comes from the root word, the Greek or Latin root word of inspired by God. What's interesting is that this kind of, it implies that enthusiasm, being able to have fun, is the way I like to say it sometimes, is actually being inspired by God to do things. Coming from that place, it's hard not to have fun. The second tip that I'd like to share with you is the importance of sharing inspiration. If you approach online marketing in this way, you won't run out of ideas because you'll continue to be a channel for inspiration from something higher than yourself. The kind of inspiration that makes me feel like this marketing is doing something good for the world and for myself is the kind that comes from wanting to help others. The third tip for online marketing that I'd like to share with you is the idea that sharing is caring. So when you're sharing inspiration and you're doing it with this attitude and with enthusiasm, you're going to be doing something for others. It's really caring about the other people that are out there in the world who want to see these things that you have to market. You're not just sharing your own inspiration, but you might be sharing the inspiration from others that have come before you, that you know can help others. It's such a wonderful service to the world to give all of your energy to something like this, to really care about what others will receive by seeing the kinds of information that you market. Now, when we talk about marketing, a lot of people tend to think, oh, they're advertising, or they're saying there's a class, or there's an event happening, and you think about all the details involved, and it kind of loses that inspiration. It kind of loses that aspect of focusing on the things that you have to share that are to help others. If you can go back to the root source and think about, why are we here? What's the bigger picture? You're not marketing information, you're marketing inspiration. Number 4 is to have clarity and focus. A lot of people get online and they start their marketing efforts and they think, oh, I have so many options. I better do as many as I can to make the biggest impact. But that's not always the right approach. What can be the right approach is to start with some kind of focus. So maybe you're going to be marketing a yoga center, and you think, okay, we have lots of different things, a lot of different audiences. We have Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, all these different social media sites that we can use. And you start to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Now, when you start marketing with that sense of there's so many things that we could be doing, you start to lose that focus. In meditation, we talk about the need for focus because it's such an integral part in having strength, that inner strength, that core. If you can have a strong core, it can lead to a better, more expansive experience, a more uplifted experience. It's the same with when you market. If you can share with others from a focused, centered place, when you have clarity of what it is you're doing and how you're doing it, people can feel that. It makes it more magnetic when you start with a plan for your marketing that has this sense of clarity. That leads us to number 5, which is setting an intention. Anytime you begin an endeavor in online marketing, you need to start with an intention. That will give you the clarity and focus that you need to express your communications that you market with more magnetism. Magnetism is the ability to attract others and to be attractive in what it is you're offering. That's a very simple version of magnetism for those of us who have heard more of it in relation to meditation and the spiritual path. But here it is applied to marketing in the best way that I can. Now, the other thing about setting an intention is it also attracts from the universe a positive force that will help you and support you along your way. Eventually, having that strong intention and never giving up is what will help you to be successful. Now, we're going to move on a little bit more to a bit less of a broader view of what we can do with marketing philosophically and more specific when we take it into our marketing. So number 6, the 6th marketing tip is being creative. One of the things that I learned from reading Yoga Principles for Material Success, which is written by Swami Ananda, who was a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda, he talked about the need for creativity. Not only can your audience feel that you're coming from a place that is expansive and inspired, but they can feel the sense that this is something being expressed in a creative way, and that's going to draw their attention. Anytime you do something creative, you're doing it because you're enthusiastic and you're having fun, you're going to be able to draw more people to what it is you're doing. But the other thing about creativity is that you need to access that in order to be more successful, because if you're kind of yourself getting bored with all the, maybe you're just posting online consistently the same kinds of things, you won't be able, you'll kind of hit a flat line. And by being creative, you rise above, and also you're able to attract more inspiration from the universe to help you. And a lot of these ideas that come when we're creative are the ones that stick out in the audience's mind. The people who watch your marketing, who receive your messaging, they can feel when it's new and expansive. And having that creativity is very important. Number 7 is being dharmic with what you market. For me in the social media world, this is really helpful when it comes to copyright issues. A lot of people feel like they almost lack a sense of this dharma applied to when they reshare and reshare something that they haven't created themselves. Now, it's not a bad thing to do that sort of thing, because of course we know that we all have limited time and limited resources. We want to be most effective with what it is that we're doing. But the key is that you don't share something without also crediting the original person. Most of the times, this is an automatic process. If you're sharing something on Facebook or Pinterest, you'll notice that it always goes back to the original source. With Facebook, you usually see who first had published that post. But sometimes when this gets a little tricky is when you post something for the first time. When you do that, it kind of implies that you created it. And so by not saying in a credit something along the lines of photo by da-da-da-da-da, you're losing that sense of dharma. The other aspect of that often happens is trying to kind of make something seem like it isn't. So maybe you're selling a service or you're trying to promote an organization, and you don't just give the facts in the best way. Maybe you're a little bit afraid of what people will think, or you think that they won't understand if you don't make certain descriptions. But you just have to be true to who you are and not try to impress others without thinking and going back to that, is this the right action? Do I feel in my heart that this is the right way to do this? You can always check in. There is always time to ask yourself if you're doing something that is done right. You will notice that if you don't, it starts to lose its power. When it goes out, whenever your communications go out, they'll lose that focus. They'll lose that sense of positivity and support that comes from the universe when you do something in the right way. Our 8th tip is to be non-attached to the outcome. With marketing, we often think, oh, I just made this really wonderful post and nobody cared. But that's okay. The idea with non-attachment is that you did it for something higher than yourself. You did it because you cared about helping others. You did it because you were inspired and you wanted to try. And that's okay if it doesn't always get in your mind, the right results. You'll still have success if you went for it. That's something that Paramahansa Ananda really stressed to his disciples, is to never give up. The other aspect of non-attachment is that it frees you. It frees your energy. If you spend that energy worrying about if what you're going to create is going to make any difference, you actually block the flow of inspiration that can come through to make it just what it needs to be. Sometimes I put on my computer a little reminder to be non-attached and to give all the fruits of my labor over to God. That I am doing it for God and not for the results, not for myself, not for others. It's just for God. Number 9, our 9th tip, is to maintain harmony within your team. I don't have a logical explanation for this in the sense of you will see a direct result, but I can tell you that it is almost what Swami Kriyananda said, the most important thing is harmony. And when you're working on marketing, it's easy to kind of get in your own world, especially online marketing. Because you're online, you can work alone on your computer from anywhere, and it's easy to forget to check in with the other people that are there. But when you have that unity, it creates a synergistic effect. So what this means is that individually, you can only do like so much of the level of energy together. You can only have so much produced together, but separate. But when you come together, and you come together in a harmonious way, all of your energies can be lifted to a much higher level than you would ever be able to do on your own. This is a very beautiful thing, and it's really helpful to remember. When you have an environment with others that is coming from a positive, harmonious place, everyone is able to have more fun. People are happier. There's a study that was done that implied that you can actually, if you have a positive outlook and you feel happier, you're actually 30% more productive. So being harmonious with your teammates and having fun together and keeping the workplace a positive environment will help you have much more success. Another thing about marketing online with a team is when you have this sense of harmony, you actually want to spend the time communicating together. This is really important because most of online marketing is based on something called content marketing. Now, content marketing is the idea that your content will get shared and shared and more shared, exponentially shared, online when you share inspiring or useful content. Content is actually information in the form of photos, video, articles, blogs, websites, links that we have and share, anything that you consider information that's helpful or inspiring. Now, when you think about this applied to your team, you can realize there's a subtle, important link here. It's that when you are a part of a team and you work together, you're probably more likely to know what the others are sharing, and then you can help support them by sharing what it is that they post online. This is very important. On Facebook, you'll notice that sometimes when you share with 1 or 2 people who have a large network, it gets shared hundreds-fold more times, just because there's a sense of synergy. And I'll close with number 10, cooperation. Cooperation is very important. We talked about harmony and cooperation in the sense within your group. But it's also important to think about cooperation in the sense of people outside of your marketing team, but rather with others in the field, your same field. Whereas in the past, a bit of a competitive nature might have gotten you far ahead in marketing. It doesn't really work that way anymore. We're coming into an age where energy, positive energy, is where it's at. When we cooperate with others with marketing, we're actually all helping each other. You've probably experienced this when you see the boost in your posts or the boost in your website views when you are being linked with others who have similar interests. In the past, you might have seen them as someone to compete with, but now it's built in such a way, the whole web, especially Google, that the more that you offer things from other people, the more you become a credible and trusted source. So cooperation is a very important key in your success online. I wish you much success in your future endeavors with online marketing, and I welcome you to learn more by visiting my online marketing educational blog. It's at www.expandyouриmpact.org, and it has many resources, including techie-friendly and also non-techie-friendly articles, videos, and resources, including do-it-yourself marketing books to help you find your success. Many blessings.